Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Xylostar financial market update. With me I have as the usual Amer and Samer.
Financial markets are compelling to technical analysis pretty well. Even though some people might consider it volatile, it's still within ranges, bounds and lines. And we're going to dig into that in a second.
Donald Trump was the fourth president who went inside the Federal Reserve, and by the way, we got corporate earnings last week, which is very important, and we are going to dive into it.
Alright everyone, Samer Raslan is here. I'm a senior analyst at the Institute, and as we've predicted in the past week, our analysis have been perfectly working out in financial markets. I hope you guys have made some decent revenues with it. So to kick it off with our upcoming week with gold, as we can see, gold has moved within exactly the chart pattern we've highlighted and within the ascending channel. So we can clearly see that gold has broken above it and retraced. Perfect movements. And from here we can further expect gold to do another attempt to break above this resistance. And from here there could be a possible retracement within the channel or a breakout. So this is about gold. Let's go to Bitcoin. Now looking at Bitcoin, as we've anticipated in the past week, we had a symmetrical triangle pattern forming. And due to many factors we've highlighted, we were very bearish on Bitcoin, even though technically it was symmetrically, let's say, on both sides. And we can clearly see a very big bearish break to the downside, filling the target we have highlighted, which is the prices as demonstrated on the screen in the fair value gap. Right now we have a break and retest, below this trend line and retest to this minor key level on this time frame. So we can further expect technically Bitcoin to fall down and fill this fair value gap, retrace into this support, or further reach to this support level, which is most likely to go to the levels of 110s because of market cycles. So this is about Bitcoin, and we expect a retracement from there. Let's go to EURUSD. Speaking about EURUSD, as we've looked our outlook on the market the past week, EURUSD has retraced to the trend line. However, there are a few things to keep in mind. Technically, speaking of trend lines, we can see that the market has done a break, retest, and most likely is gonna do a continuation in a bearish direction. However, if we look into different aspects of technical analysis, we can see that there is a Marubozu here, and the market is broken above the last resistance here before retracement, right? So we have to be very careful about risk management if we are looking to go short on EURUSD, because there's a good possibility that EURUSD actually might continue in a bullish momentum. All right, so I would recommend keeping an eye on risk management if we're going for EURUSD. So this is about EURUSD. Yes, there's a decent possibility in shorting it, and also there's good possibility in it going long. So I would say it's more of not too clear for an upcoming week movement. So this is about EURUSD. Let's go into Nifty50. Now looking at Nifty50, also as we've predicted, market broke below this trend line and moved in a bearish momentum. Currently the price is in the middle of a channel, so we can actually, after this break to the downside, even though it's bearish, but we're finding some, let's say, bullish resistance. Not resistance technically, as in just a word meaning. Right, so from here we can expect Nifty50 to be consolidating, reach to this support of 24,400s, which it had played with it or had reacted to it very solidly in the past. So we could see it going to this support and consolidating within this range for the upcoming week. So this is about Nifty50, and let's go to NASDAQ. Now speaking of NASDAQ, it is the only asset that hasn't fully compelled to the analysis yet. We can see a pretty strong bullish momentum continuing, or actually I wouldn't really call it that strong, because we can see that the price is almost crawling to the upside and barely holding up to this, let's say, channel. So we have this channel of an uptrend within the bigger channel of the uptrend. So we can further see at anytime soon a break to the downside where market can retrace to the support or and the trend line of this ascending channel before the further possible continuation to the upside, right? So yeah, we want to go bullish on NASDAQ, but not for the time being. We need a good price for an entry. That will be it for our analysis for the upcoming week.
Greeting everyone, hope you are doing great. Amir Amidian here. I'm Senior Fundamental Analyst at Xylostar Head Office located in Dubai, and today we are going to dive into the most crucial aspect of financial market, which is fundamental, the reason behind of all movements. As usual, I want to start it with the last week economic indicators. I want to kick it with the UK economy, about the PMI numbers. The UK economy barely grew in July, with businesses facing fewer orders, low confidence, and higher costs. Job cuts continued, and weak demand is adding pressure on the Bank of England to lower interest rates in August, even though inflation has risen recently. The next chapter is about the euro. The Eurozone economy is showing signs of recovery, with manufacturing stabilizing and services growing, driven largely by Germany, offsetting French weaknesses amid political uncertainty. This inflation continues in services, offering relief to the European Central Bank, while the strong euro and US tariffs may keep inflation pressures subdued. The next one is about the US. US economic growth accelerated to a 2.3% annualized rate in early third quarter, driven mainly by services, while manufacturing weakened and businesses' confidence fell sharply. Inflation pressures intensified due to tariffs and labor costs, with rising prices likely to push consumer inflation further above the Fed's 2% target. Last week we got also the press conference and the meeting of the European Central Bank. The ECB kept interest rates unchanged, pausing after 8 cuts since 2024, with the deposit rate at 2%. President Lagarde said the Eurozone economy is in a good place and inflation is near target. Markets now expect no more rate cuts in 2025, bearing a major economic slowdown. Regarding the corporate earnings in the United States, Google Alphabet crushed earnings with a strong ad and cloud revenue. AI-driven capex was raised to $85 billion, showing aggressive tech expansion. Regarding the Tesla missed expectations on vehicle sales and profit, and Elon Musk warned of a few rough quarters. Stock dropped sharply, and eventually Intel beat revenue but reported a surprise loss due to restructuring costs, leading to investor disappointment and stock decline, as you can see here. Next week is going to be a packed one. Why? Because we are going to get the latest update about the interest rate decisions and also monetary policy statements from the different central banks, such as Bank of Japan, Federal Reserve, and Bank of Canada. But don't forget, the main concentration and focus will be on the United States, as we are going to get the latest updates about the employment gauges and economic indicators, such as job opening numbers, ADP, and NFP eventually at the end of the week on Friday. So don't forget, we are going to get also GDP numbers, which is very critical from the United States, as we are in a very specific period of time in the economic cycle. Next week in the United States, corporate earnings are going to play a critical role, as we are going to get 7 magnificent companies earning, such as Apple, Meta, Microsoft, and other giant companies such as Amazon. And eventually on Friday, we are going to get Chevron and ExxonMobil earnings for the second quarter. And at the beginning of the week, also Starbucks, Visa, Spotify, PayPal, and Boeing are gonna release their earnings.
Goodbye everyone, see you next week with Xylostar Financial Market Update. Don't forget to share our content, like and follow our page.